You will win when you master your mind. Opening, the mind is the battleground. The greatest war you will ever fight will not be fought in the streets. It won't be between countries, and it will never make the history books, because the most important battle of your life is the one you fight within. You were born into a world designed to tame you, to condition you, to box your brilliance into silence and distract your genius with noise. But somewhere deep inside you, before the world told you who to be, you knew. You knew you were powerful. You knew you were different. You knew there was more to life than just survival. That spark, that whisper, that truth, it's still there. Buried beneath self-doubt, fear, and years of unconscious habits. And you will never win in this world until you win that war inside. Because until you master your mind will master you. Every fortune, every dynasty, every revolution began first in the mind of one individual. Before the Wright brothers took flight, they saw the skies in their minds. Before Edison gave light to the world, he lit the fire of belief in himself. Before Lincoln freed the enslaved, he broke the chains of fear within his own soul. They were not born with clearer paths. They were not chosen by destiny. They simply understood this. What you think, you become. If your mind is filled with confusion, chaos, and conflict, then your life will echo that noise. But when your thoughts align with clarity, vision, and truth, the world bends to your will. You are not your thoughts. You are the master of them. And once you understand that, you become dangerous to everything that once tried to break you. No man has ever built greatness without first building belief. Belief is not some soft idea written in a book of affirmations. It is the backbone of every champion. It is the fire behind every act of courage. When Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right," he wasn't being clever. He was telling you the truth of the universe. You will never outperform your belief. You will never outwork a mind infected with doubt. The mind is not a passive container. It is a creator. And belief is the blueprint it follows. You must guard your belief like a fortress, starve it of negativity, feed it only truth. And truth is this: you are powerful beyond measure. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you believe it enough to do something about it. The mind thrives in darkness when there is no vision, and that darkness breeds fear. You want to know why most people stay stuck? Because they wake up every day without a vision, without a direction, without clarity. And without clarity, even the most gifted get lost. Winners do not move aimlessly, they move with certainty. Because they see the outcome long before the world sees it. Walt Disney walked acres of swampland and saw a kingdom. Carnegie walked into steel mills and saw empires. You must walk into your life and see what no one else can. Write it, speak it, visualize it every single day. Clarity turns chaos into order. Clarity makes the impossible feel inevitable. Clarity rewires the mind for purpose, and where purpose lives, weakness dies. There is something more dangerous than failure, and that's success without vision. You are not here just to make money. You are not here just to survive. You are here to become something greater. Vision is the compass of the soul. It gives meaning to the pain. It gives strength to the struggle. It gives fuel to the fire. The reason most people quit isn't because they're weak. It's because they never saw a future worth fighting for. The moment you give your mind a target, a mission, a reason, it will summon the forces of creation to bring it to life. You think you need motivation? No, you need a reason. And once you have it, you will move through fire without flinching. Purpose. Purpose is not found. It is forged. In the fires of resistance, in the depths of adversity, in the silence when no one believes in you, not even yourself. Your purpose is not written in the stars. It is carved into your soul, one choice at a time. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're building purpose. Every time you stay disciplined when no one's watching, you're building purpose. Every time you speak truth when it would be easier to stay quiet, you are shaping a life that matters. And when your mind is anchored to purpose, you become unbreakable. You don't give up because you're tired. You don't give in because it's hard. You keep moving because your life is no longer about you alone. It's about the impact you leave behind. Discipline, the path to freedom. The mind craves comfort, but success lives in discomfort. Discipline is the bridge between the life you want and the excuses that keep you from it. Most people don't lack potential. They lack consistency. They want results, but they're slaves to emotion. They only move when they feel like it. But the masters of the mind? They move regardless, rain or shine. Motivated or exhausted, loved or betrayed, they keep showing up. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to. It's what separates men from legends. It's what turns dreams into empires. It's what makes the average irrelevant. And the moment you stop letting emotions dictate your actions and start letting purpose and vision lead, that's the moment you become free. Action, the fire that transforms thought into reality. The mind is the furnace, belief is the spark, but action is the flame that forges destiny. All the mindset in the world means nothing. If it stays trapped in your head, you can read every book, recite every affirmation, visualize every outcome. But until you act, you are only dreaming. Action is what separates the philosopher from the creator, the thinker from the doer, the talker from the one who builds the world they imagined. Do you think Andrew Carnegie became the king of steel through contemplation? Do you believe Thomas Edison invented the light bulb with positive thinking alone? No. They moved, they built, they failed, and then they moved again. The only way to gain confidence is through motion. The only way to sharpen skill is through repetition. And the only way to conquer fear is to face it with trembling hands and keep going anyway. You will never feel fully ready. That moment doesn't exist. You don't wait for the courage. You act, and courage follows. When you live with lack in your mind, you'll create lack in your life. When you focus on what you don't have, you blind yourself to the power already in your hands. Gratitude is not about settling. It's not about ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. Gratitude is about power. It's the ability to train your mind to focus on strength over scarcity, progress over perfection, opportunity over limitation. Because when your mind is grateful, it sees more. And when your mind sees more, it creates more. Gratitude doesn't make you passive, it makes you magnetic. Because it shifts your identity from victim to victor. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "Thank you, now watch what I build with this." That's the mindset of a builder, that's the heartbeat of a winner. Adaptability, winners evolve or die. You will not win if you can't evolve. This world doesn't stop for anyone. Markets crash, plans break, people leave, rain falls, and yet the man who masters his mind is never defeated, only redirected. You must be like water, able to take the shape of whatever life throws at you. Bruce Lee said, "Be water, my friend." Because water is soft, but it cuts through stone. It bends, but it never breaks. It flows, but it never loses direction. You will not always control what happens, but you can always control what it means. Adaptability is your superpower, not because it prevents the storm, but because it teaches you how to dance in it. You do not break, you adjust, you realign, you overcome. That is the mark of one who rules not just the moment, but themselves. Resilience, the rebirth after. You want to talk about power? Let's talk about what you do after life knocks you flat, because every champion has a scar. Every great mind has a chapter they don't talk about. Every legend has crawled through darkness to reach the light. Resilience isn't about pretending you're unbreakable. It's about what you choose when you've already been broken. Do you stay there? Do you let the story end in the valley? Or do you get up, write a new ending, and rise with fire in your eyes? Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, 27 years, and he emerged not bitter, but stronger. Not as a prisoner, but a president. You think life has hit you hard? Good, because now you get to show it who you are. Pain is not the end, it's the beginning of a new version. A sharper you, a bolder you, a wiser you. Resilience means you don't fold, you rebuild. And you come back so strong the world doesn't recognize you. Learning, the mind that never stops growing. The moment you think you've arrived, you've already started to decay. The greatest minds in history were never finished products. They were eternal students. Einstein once said, "I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious." And that curiosity is what separates the great from the forgotten. You want to master your mind? Then feed it daily. Challenge it relentlessly. Expand it until the old version of you is unrecognizable. Don't just seek information, seek transformation. Read what stretches you, listen to what humbles you, practice what sharpens you. A closed mind is a dying mind, and a mind committed to growth becomes unstoppable because it doesn't fear failure. It sees failure as fuel. It doesn't fear criticism. It sees feedback as refinement. The mind that hungers for learning will never be conquered.
Inner dominion. Control the world.
The highest form of strength is not domination over others. It is dominion over self. Your emotions, your habits, your impulses, your fears. The battlefield is within. And until you master your reactions, you will always be a servant to circumstances. Think of the greatest leaders, Marcus Aurelius, George Washington, Martin Luther King Jr. They didn't lead through force. They led through internal discipline, through calm in the storm, through unshakable mental clarity. They were the eye of the hurricane. You want power? Still your mind. You want peace? Train your thoughts. You want to lead? Master the battlefield within. Because once you have dominion over yourself, nothing outside of you has power over your destiny. You will win when you master your mind. Seamless continuation, emotionally intense, uninterrupted flow. Vision, the mind's blueprint for destiny. You can't hit a target you never defined. You can't climb a mountain if you never chose one. Most people drift. They react. They follow the crowd. They copy what others do and hope it leads somewhere better. But the mind was not designed to drift. It was designed to build. And what it builds is shaped by vision. Vision is not a wish, it's not a fantasy, it's not a Pinterest board of dreams. Vision is purpose with clarity. It's the internal blueprint that bends time, energy, and intention toward a singular outcome. Vision is what moved Martin Luther King to speak when it was dangerous. Vision is what kept Steve Jobs obsessing over glass and pixels. Vision is what caused explorers to set sail into oceans that had no maps. When your mind is owned by vision, distractions fade. When your mind is lit by purpose, temptations die. You stop chasing validation because you've already seen the future you're building. The world will call you crazy until you create what they can't unsee, but you will not create it by accident. You will create it by seeing it in your mind, long before anyone else believes.
Clarity.
The silent edge that decides everything. Clarity is not loud. Clarity doesn't scream for attention, but it cuts through confusion like a sword. Clarity is the quiet power that lets you walk into chaos and know exactly what matters. It's the ability to say no when everyone else is saying yes, to focus on one thing when the world is chasing everything. Do you want to master your mind? Then declutter it. Strip away the noise, burn the unnecessary. Ask yourself, what am I really here to do? What must I absolutely become? What must I let go of so I can finally rise? Because until you're clear, you'll wander, you'll dabble, you'll hesitate. But once you're clear, you move like fire. You cut through delays, you become impossible to stop. Clarity is not gifted, it's earned. Through solitude, through reflection, through pain, through choosing what matters and eliminating everything that doesn't. The sharper your clarity, the fewer your regrets. Discipline, the daily war that builds kings. Discipline it a punishment. It's the path to freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from the old version of you that keeps sabotaging everything you say you want. Discipline is the most misunderstood form of love. It says, I believe in the future version of myself so much that I will sacrifice temporary comfort for eternal greatness. Discipline is what made Kobe shoot in the gym when no one was watching. It's what kept Jocko Willink waking at 4:30 a.m. for decades. It's what allows soldiers to face hell and keep going. You think motivation will carry you? It won't. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. The mind without discipline is like a wild horse, powerful but out of control, dangerous and useless. But the mind that's trained daily, the one that's sharpened through habit, the one that obeys higher values instead of lower emotions, that mind is a weapon. And once you become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel, you become the rarest kind of human. Identity, the root from which everything grows. You will never rise higher than the image you hold of yourself, your results, your wealth, your relationships, your influence. They are all reflections of your identity. Because identity is the thermostat of life. You can hustle, you can grind, you can chase the external, but if your inner thermostat says I'm not worthy, you will unconsciously sabotage everything you build. That's why people win and then fall apart, because they changed their habits, but they never rewrote their identity. To master your mind, you must upgrade your self-concept. You must see yourself not as someone trying to become, but someone who already is. Already powerful, already worthy, already capable of greatness. And when your identity shifts, your behavior becomes automatic. Because you're no longer forcing change, you're expressing who you've become. You don't try to be disciplined, you are a disciplined person. You don't try to be wealthy, you are someone who creates value at the highest level. Identity is the deepest layer of transformation, and the one who changes their identity changes their entire life. The world is full of noise, distractions, opinions, fears, limitations. But you were not born to surrender to the noise. You were born to rise above it, to stand in the storm and hold your vision, to walk through the fire and carry your purpose, to lead because your mind cannot be shaken. When you master your mind, you no longer chase success, you attract it. You no longer beg for approval, you command respect. You no longer fear failure, you use it. You no longer follow the crowd, you build the path. This is your mind, this is your weapon. And once you take back control, there is no force on earth that can stop you. You are no longer a victim of thought. You are the master of thought. You are no longer shaped by the world. You are the shaper of worlds. So stand up, decide, commit, and never look back. You will win. When you master your mind,